I think you're dandy. And if you want to see the inside of this, stick around. One of my favorite cards I got from my kids, and I'll share that with you. My name's Kerry. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and where we talk about all things mindset, motivation, and manifesting, and how to utilize those to level up in every area of your life in our constant quest to become the best version of ourselves. I say ourselves because I'm right along this journey with you. In this video today, I'm going to share some very personal and special stories to me and gifts that I've received, and explain why individual notes, handwritten things that you create yourself, things created by people that are given to others, are so cherished and important in this world, and give you some tips of how to start creating some of those on your own. This video came from an idea from a man-to-man exercise we were doing in the man-to-men group that we have about connecting with your partner, like your wife or girlfriend, and just some different things, and how to use those same concepts to connect with your kids and coworkers and stuff like that. So, and then in a mastermind that I'm in, we started discussing that as well. And being Valentine's Day when I'm recording this, all the pressure to, oh, what do I buy? What do I get? What does that need to look like? And, you know, when we think about birthdays and Christmas and all the commercial holidays, and we think that all of the pressure needs to be on the amount we spend and how much that needs to be. Now, I'm not getting anything wrong. If that's in your budget, in your range, that you can do things like that, I mean, all the power to you. That's great. I love to do that as well. But if it's not, I mean, it's okay. And that's what this is all about today. So join me on a little trip down memory lane. I remember when I was in grade 8, okay, so this is going back a few years. When I was in grade 8, my dad came up to me and he took out his wallet and he brought out a piece of paper that looked like it had been there a while, and he had unfolded it, and it looks like he unfolded. It was like in, you know how when you fold a piece of paper in half and in half and in half, and then open up and close it, and it's almost like ripping apart, right? Barely held together. And he brought this out in front of me and asked me, he said, "Can you rewrite this for me?" And I was like, "What is it?" And I had done an assignment in grade 4 where we had to pick someone that meant a lot to us in our lives and just write a letter or write about them, like a little essay, a letter about what they meant to us and who they were and why they were important in our lives and things like that. And my dad kept that in his wallet for years. And I thought, like, I gave it to him. I'm like, okay, great. Like, you know, there you go. Thought that it ended up, you know, with the recycling or whatever at that point. But he kept it with him in his wallet for years. And not only just kept it with him, but he told me and shared with me that in times that were challenging or a little bit rough or dark, that he would pull this thing out and it reminded him that he mattered in this world, and that it really helped him through some tough times. And that really had me, you know, it got me thinking. I mean, as a child, to think that something I wrote like that would support someone I loved so much, like, you know, what a gift for me, for him to share that with me. And so going back and in the discussion, and I want to say, like, the importance of that is we go back to in a world where text messages and email and you know, digital messaging is all the same. We all think we're connected online, but we're actually more disconnected than ever. And one of the coaches, a dear friend of mine, who I will share, his name is Sab from Paris, who sent me this all the way from Paris, a little handmade gift. He's very creative, and so thank you, Sab. He had mentioned that there was a study done that was back in the 50s, that it was either in the 50s or the 60s, where the most exciting time of the day, when they did these surveys, they monitored people's heartbeats, stuff like that. The most exciting time of the day for people back, and I can't quote the exact year or stuff because I heard it from him. So, but he said was when the mailman showed up. When the mailman would be walking down the street and people were like, oh, is he gonna stop? Is he gonna stop? And then if he stopped at your house, like, people would run out to their mailbox to get their mail. Who wrote him a letter? It was super exciting and all of that. So exciting that there have been songs like written about that all through the years. I mean, a few, like, you know, we're talking about from the 50s, 60s. How about the Box Tops? There's a song called The Letter. If you know it, you can put a microphone or a comment in the thing. But the first lines of that song, and I'm gonna try to say this without singing it, but it's give me a ticket for an aeroplane, ain't got time to take a fast train, lonely days are gone, I'm going home, my baby just wrote me a letter. That is the power of a handwritten note or a letter. I want to share another little story with you. My son we were sitting around and joking, and through the years, they always, with, well, obviously with my frame and bodybuilding, different things like that, my kids always joked about, they're like, man, your quads are giant, and they would joke about the size of my legs and stuff, which I think is funny, whatever. And so one time, just in being funny, I like to leave little notes and stuff like that. I've always kind of liked it because I know the impact of it. I know how much I love it when I get notes. And so I wrote my son this, this little thing way back when, as a joke. And that was when he was like, I don't know, like 9, 10, something like that. And then about a year ago, we were sitting around talking at the table after dinner one night. And they're starting to talk about, my kids talk about, oh, have you ever thought about a tattoo? I don't know about this and that, and kind of joking around with it. And my son mentions, he goes, oh, if I got a tattoo, I know exactly what it would be. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, we're joking around? And he goes, yep. And it's like deja vu all over again, as they say. But he breaks out his wallet, and he unfolds a small piece of paper. And it's a note that I wrote him way back, when he was 9 years old. So he's had this thing in his wallet for like, at least 7, 8, 9 years, right? That he's had this thing. And I took a picture of it. So, and it's not going to do it justice. It's not going to do it justice here, but I took a picture and printed it out because I wanted to save it. So hopefully you can see this, but it says, thank you for being my son for all these years. I love you very much. Hockey buddies for life. Love, Dad. And a picture of me with my giant quads with skates on, and him playing hockey, because I would coach them in hockey and everything else. So, and obviously the key here is this drawing is terrible. And I know that. And that's the beauty of an authentic note from someone or a creation. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it proves that it's from you, it's from your heart, right? And that's the beauty. And even, my daughter had sent me a picture just randomly, a few months ago. She sent me a picture. She was going through some of her books that she had, and she said, oh, hey, look, I found this note. And it was a note that I had written her when we were moving, when going through separation, divorce, kids going back and forth or whatever, and I slid a note in, and I had wrote her a note and just left it one day for her, right? Just on, how much I admire her and how hard she works and how much of, she's an inspiration and so important to me, like, as well as all my kids. But so wrote her that letter, and that was years ago. And then she randomly sends me a picture of it. She goes, yeah, I kept it in my book. And it honestly brought tears to my eyes. Right? And even right now, right? It's like, it's just amazing that, like, I do those things because I wanted to do those things because it brought me joy. But the fact that it actually landed and meant something more than any perfume, more than any, game, Xbox controller, like whatever, anything you've ever bought in the years, that's what really sits. And that's what this video is all about today. So, and it's also nice to receive things, right? Like, I mean, I showed you a little block here from my friend Sab in Paris, and even the paintings up on the wall back here were a custom gift from, made for me, which I value immensely, right? And the colors that were chosen and everything, like, and it's so good. It's so, and that's why they're where they are. So I see them every day in my office because it reminds me of that, someone's thinking about you. Right? And that someone took time out of their life to create this for you. And I'm not saying purchased gifts aren't great, yeah, but this is all about how that special touch, that handwritten, that taking that time and attention. So those are a few things that I love that I'm able to share with you today. So how can you do the same thing? And this is my invitation to you today. As much as we love to receive them, right? We need to, in order to spread joy and love and happiness in this world, it's my I guess, call it a challenge, call it a, whatever, but my request for you is to start implementing some of this in your life. And just you will be amazed at the impact it has. And not just a transactional thing where here's this, thank you, but as I've just shared in some of these stories, that it goes on for years and years. And you never know when that little note might be that inspiration that someone needs that day to keep going. Or that it's that ray of hope on the day when there seems like there's none. So when you're creating these, whether it's a picture that's not great, whether it's, whatever, artwork, like, you could be the most talented artist, it could be not, like whatever, could be a poem, could be a note, could be a picture, whatever. Genuinely express your feelings. Why are you doing it, right? Who is that person? What do they mean to you? Maybe include a personal connection or a story or some sort of cherished memory, something about them that why they're special to you, right? Put that in there. How about specific qualities you admire about them, right? I mean, these are suggestions, obviously. It doesn't have to have all those in it, but I mean, here's an idea, right? What that person means to you. And this could be your kids. This could be your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. This could be a coworker. Just a note of appreciation. It could be your parents, family, like whatever. Right? But do it, right? And just a sincere closing, right? Do you have a nickname for them? Do you have something that is funny or just has that emotional connection for them? Whether it's even calling somebody dad or mom, right? Or whatever that nickname might be. So I encourage you to do that today. So there's a quote that I want to share from Ashton Kutcher, and I'm going to read it. I do have notes just off to the side here. But it's, "The power of a handwritten letter is greater than ever. It's personal and deliberate and means more than an email or text ever will. It has a unique scent. It requires deciphering. But most important, it's flawed." And think about the examples that I've got here. I mean, I remember, getting, certain things that I've got, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry about that. It was just a little thing here and there," or I'm not happy with how I did this or how that turned out. That's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it beautiful. So I encourage you to send a note to someone. Who's it going to be for you? Right? What's it going to be? A little short note? Maybe it's a note in your kid's lunch pail. Maybe it's a note under the pillow of your special someone. Maybe it's something written on the bathroom mirror in a dry erase marker. What is it? As insignificant as it seems to you, it can mean the world to someone in your life that you care for. So I promised you at the end, "I think you're dandy." And he says, "And I'm not lying. Happy Father's Day," from Carl. That's my son. He made that for me. So said I would share that. So and I have a whole drawer of things like this that I cherish. That even in times where I go back and I look through, right? And they really, I absolutely love every one of them. So if you found value in this video, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I put a new video out every week. And if you're interested in Man to Man, I mentioned it earlier. It's a group. There's videos. I'll tag it in the notes below. But it's an absolute brilliant program where men get together and have real conversations and in growing emotionally, emotional intelligence, learning about just communication, making relationships better, relationships with ourselves, others, and just, growing, right? That's what it's all about, improving, becoming the best versions of ourselves. And I do have one-to-one coaching spots as well as all this. So you can check with kerrykish.com is my website. I'll link that in the notes below as well, or just send me a DM on any of my socials. Instagram, I'm pretty active on Instagram, and that's at Kerry Kish Coaching. So thank you so much. I'm grateful for the moments that we share together. And please don't delay. Write a note to somebody, right? Plan on doing it. Whatever time of day it is. If it's in the morning you're doing this, write a note to somebody today. If it's late at night, plan on what you're going to do tomorrow, but do it. And I guarantee the joy that you spread out in this world will not only be received with love and appreciation, but it'll come back to you one day. And don't do it because it comes back to you. Do it because it makes you feel good. But we need more of that in this world. I'm grateful for you, as always. Until the next video, sending peace, love, and positive vibes your way.